In a small, forgotten village nestled deep within a fog-covered valley, there stood an ancient, crumbling house. No one lived there anymore, not since the mysterious disappearance of its last inhabitant, a kind old man named Elias. He had been the village's lightkeeper, tending to the great lantern on the hill, ensuring its flame never went out. The lantern was said to protect the village from the creeping darkness that surrounded them. But one night, Elias vanished without a trace, and the light of the lantern faded. The villagers, gripped by fear, dared not approach the hill anymore. Stories began to spread, of shadows moving in the fog, of strange whispers carried on the wind. The village, once lively, was now shrouded in an unsettling silence. Years passed, and soon Elias became nothing more than a distant memory, a forgotten name in the village's lore. One day, a young boy named Finn, barely 12 years old, found himself drawn to the hill. Ever since his father passed, Finn had become restless, seeking answers to the questions no one would answer. He had heard the stories of Elias and the lantern, but unlike the others, Finn didn't fear the unknown. He was drawn to it. Clutching an old lantern he found in his father's attic, Finn climbed the hill one misty evening. The air grew colder with every step, and the fog thickened, swirling around him like ghosts of the past. Yet Finn pressed on, determined. When he reached the top, he found the great lantern, rusted and dark. His heart sank as he looked at its extinguished flame, realizing that the village had been unprotected all this time. In a moment of quiet despair, he knelt beside the lantern and whispered, "I wish I could bring you back." Just as his words left his lips, a soft voice broke through the fog. "Why have you come here, young one?" Finn stood startled and saw the faint figure of an old man, his face lined with age and sorrow. It was Elias. "I came to find the light," Finn said, trembling, "to bring it back." Elias looked at the boy with a sadness Finn couldn't understand. "The light never left, child. It was never in the lantern." Finn frowned, confused. "But the village, they said the lantern kept the darkness away." Elias shook his head. "The darkness is not in the fog, nor in the shadows. It lives in the hearts of those who forget to care, to love, to remember what truly matters. When I left, it was because the villagers no longer needed my light. They had let their own lights dim." Finn's eyes filled with tears. "But what can I do? I'm just a boy." Elias knelt beside him, his form barely visible in the mist. "You carry your father's lantern, do you not?" Finn nodded. "Then use it," Elias whispered. "Not to light the hill, but to light the hearts of those who have forgotten how to love, how to hope. One small flame can drive away the deepest darkness." With that, Elias faded into the mist, leaving Finn alone beside the great lantern. Taking a deep breath, Finn lit his father's lantern and began the long walk back to the village. As he descended the hill, something incredible happened. The fog began to lift, and with every step, the light from Finn's lantern grew brighter, illuminating the path ahead. By the time he reached the village, the once dark streets were bathed in a soft, warm glow. The villagers, curious, emerged from their homes, drawn to the light. One by one, they looked at Finn, then at the lantern he carried. In their eyes, he saw something he hadn't seen in years: hope. The moral of the story is simple. The light we seek is not always in grand gestures or distant places. Often it resides within us, waiting to be shared. Even in the darkest times, a small act of kindness can ignite the flame of hope in others, reminding us that we are never truly alone.